Burn 'em, Bobby. Woo!
Hey YouTube, what's going on? I'm probably a little bit overdue for a review here, but here's a Century C39V2. Alright, some things about this just right off the bat. US palm grip. This is probably the best grip you can get for an AK, for a pistol grip. Extremely comfortable. Rifle Dynamics likes to use them a lot. Gibbs magazine. I'll be doing a review of those, but so far they are good to go. Up here we got a Tapco muzzle brake. I just threw that on there. I'm kind of just going through different muzzle brakes, seeing what I like and stuff, and just testing them out. I've always been curious about that design. It's the AK-74 design. But anywho, I also got a Echo 93 Mac sling mount here. Boom. Try to get that better there. That's a very good one. This sling mount here is for your standard AKM AK. As this AK, even though it is a milled receiver, it takes AKM parts, which you already know, because there's many other reviews out there that will tell you that. I've tried different hand guards on here, and I've tried Hogue and Magpul. They both fit without modification. So even though it is a milled receiver and it's a little bit thicker than a stamped receiver, I have not yet had problems putting other furniture on here. I haven't had to modify any other furniture to put it on this rifle. This right here is it's a Krebs, safety lever. This is for the milled receiver, not the stamped receiver. There's two different kinds. So that's for the milled receiver. The rifle is made out of 4140 ordnance grade steel. It's got a Green Mountain barrel, 4140. It's not cold hammer forged and it's not chrome lined. Now, you're probably never going to need a 4150 barrel, and you're probably never going to notice the difference between a 4140 and 4150 barrel. Alright? Now, it's not chrome lined, and that's because it's nitride coated. The whole entire gun, all the parts on it, except for the bolt carrier, and I think it's just the bolt carrier is not nitride coated. The rest of the gun is nitride coated except for the bolt carrier. And that's because Century Arms wanted to keep this bolt carrier, a specific hardness, and the nitride finish would screw with that, because nitride gives the metal a surface harder. It makes the surface harder. Excuse me, I'm stumbling over my words here. So that's kind of better than chrome lining. From all the research that I've done, I'd rather have a nitride barrel and coated parts than chrome plated, especially when it comes to a barrel, because apparently it gives you longer barrel life and it's more impervious to the elements and more impervious to corrosive ammo. So I guess it's better than chrome lining from what I've read about it. Now, the downside to this rifle is that some of these parts here are castings. Now, that's typically not really a big deal. You won't ever notice any difference between casted parts and machine parts. But I will say this: I had a IO Inc. AK, had casting parts. The casting, I don't think, was hardened correctly, and it was also very poor metal. The metal on the bolt carrier had air pockets in it, and that IO did not last long, and I got rid of it as soon as I could. So anyways, I've shot a couple hundred rounds with this. I have not noticed any excess wear in any area of the rifle. I've overlooked the whole entire thing. No excess wear. Everything's holding up fine, as it should for an AK. All the parts fit very snug together. I mean, the gas tube It's not rattling. The dust cover, you could mount a Picatinny rail on the top of this fucker. It's not going anywhere. That is a solid top cover. The sights are good, except for the rear sight. It's a great sight, except, I don't know if you can see this here. The back end of the sight here has a slight bevel to it right here. And when the sun hits that, it's kind of hard to pick up the sights. Let's see if I can, this little ridge on the very top where there's kind of a glare. Not sure why Century Arms did that, but whatever. I plan on getting a different rear sight anyways, like a Rifle Dynamics rear sight that has a little bit more of an opened up U-notch there. I guess we'll go into the rifle. First of all, the wood on this rifle is pretty darn sweet. It's a walnut apparently. It has a very interesting grain to it, a very nice grain to it. I like it a lot. It's not lacquer coated, it's something else. I don't know what it is, but it's very nice. I think I'm going to keep the wood. One thing nice about wood is it handles with the heat pretty well. So you got to keep that in mind. And it also looks cool. Also, there's no cleaning rod on the bottom of this rifle. I suppose you could, well, I guess you couldn't add one. But there's no cleaning rod, which is, I'd like to have one, but it doesn't really matter, I guess. The barrel is a little thicker than your standard AK barrels, which is pretty nice. It's more like a Yugo kind of a thickness. Let me take this dust cover off here. Now, all the internal parts, all the parts are American made, every single piece. The springs are Wolf springs. The recoil spring here is a Wolf XP extra power spring, so that's cool. I got one hand, so excuse my camera work. There's your bolt carrier and bolt. There's not much to say about it except for it's an AK bolt carrier. It works. There's no excessive wear on it. It's holding up just fine. Here's your internals here. Century Arms' trigger. It's pretty awesome. This is better than the Tapco in my opinion. It's got a better trigger pull, I think, and also the hammer itself is rounded out at the top of it, so you don't get any hang-ups when you're cycling the firearm. Oh, and by the way, I didn't do a fucking safety check on this because I already did it before the video. I'm not going to waste your time with it. So yeah, there's the internals. Everything seems to be done properly on this rifle. The lightning cuts here on the version 2 are pretty sweet looking. I like how they did those. Take a look at this other side here. It is a nice rifle. Couldn't tell you the name of the sling. Got it off of Amazon or something. If you plan on putting an Ultimac rail on this, you'll have to get an M2B Ultimac rail because it's got the gas holes on the gas tube itself. Also, excuse my work here. If you plan on getting an Ultimac, this had it on there before I took it off. You're going to have to Dremel out some wood on this handguard here. You can see where I've done that from here back to here. Didn't have to Dremel out too much. Now, with wood, you kind of got to be careful with the elements because it will expand and contract with the weather. And what I've been doing is every time I clean this rifle, I use Ballistol. I'll take Ballistol and I'll spray it on the wood here so the oils kind of get absorbed into the pores. in case it ever gets water on it, so the water just kind of beads off of it. Ballistol is good like that. So that is the rifle. It should last for the rest of my life. This is my favorite AK that I own. Most favorite AK that I own. I'll be doing a separate review on the magazines here. And also I'm going to go over some different furniture that you can get for your AK, like the pros and cons. But this is a great rifle, very accurate. And I think that you should get one if you're thinking about it. It doesn't have a side rail on it, a side mount for it for a scope. I've been thinking about attaching one on here. It seems pretty easy, but I don't know if I'd ever use it if I did put it on there. The Raz 47 has one on there, and the Raz 47 is the same gun, except it's got a 4150 steel barrel, and the receiver is stamped. Now, if I had to choose between the two, I'd probably go with the C39V2, just because it's kind of hard to find a milled receiver. And in my opinion, there's no big advantages of a milled receiver over a stamped receiver. Stamped receiver is actually lighter, but the only reason I would go with this one is just because it's kind of hard to find a milled receiver in AK, and you don't see them too often. But I'd have no problems with the Raz 47 if I did have that one instead. So yeah, there it is, C39V2. Go get one. Go get one before these next elections come up here, because I can guarantee you when the elections start happening, guns and ammo are going to be flying off the shelves, and good luck getting any for quite a while. So thank you for watching. I'm going to be throwing some more reviews up here pretty soon. Peace out.